The Sand is a horror film from 2015. This is directed by Isaac Gabaeff, written by Alex Greenfield and Ben Powell. And it sounded interesting, but unfortunately it's not very good. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It is watchable, but it didn't really have a lot to offer. I will say before I go in with the narrative and a few positive points, well, a few more positive points, the acting is really good. I really liked the performances. I really liked some of the characters. Some of them were a bit boring, but I definitely didn't dislike anybody. The camera work is very good. The sound effects are very good. There are a lot of positives, but it's just not scary. It's about a bunch of young adults on the beach, and, well, there's a threat under the sand. And most of it we don't see. And yes, a lot of horror films can work really well when the threat is invisible. Not necessarily invisible as in we can't see it even when it's in front of us, but it's not there, it's behind corners, it's suspected, it's that threat of the unknown, and that often does work. But with this one, the bits that I enjoyed the most were when we got to see these thread-like tentacles, and it made me feel sick. And I really wish they did that a lot more and really lent into that. The visuals could have been really eerie and really creepy, but what we got was just so bland and so basic. And maybe it's a budgeting thing. Obviously, I don't know what the budget is, but if you have a lower budget, obviously you can't do elaborate creature designs and things. But I really did feel sick when those thread-like tentacle things were coming out of the sand. And if they did a lot more with that, it could have been really, really interesting and really creepy, and it could have made me scared to go to the beach. But I could walk on the sand right now, and it wouldn't make a difference. So, unfortunately, it's not very well done in terms of the horror aspect. The pacing is fine, the characters are well enough written. As I said, some I really liked, some were just there, but I didn't dislike any of them. And the technical aspects in terms of the camera work and the music and the special effects to an extent were pretty decent, but as I said, they could have done a lot more. And if it's a budgeting thing, fine, that's completely understandable, but it wasn't scary at all. So if you're looking for a horror film that's easy to watch and quite, I don't want to say relaxing, but it's not intense. Apart from a few moments where I felt a bit sick, it's not an intense watch. So if you're looking for something that has a bit of a creepy atmosphere, but it's not exactly scary, and if you're doing other things around the house or whatever, and you just want something to put on in the background and you won't miss too much, then I'd say The Sand is a good one to go with. But as a film to sit down and watch and become fully immersed in, it's doable. But I didn't really feel a lot. So definitely a lot of room for improvement. Maybe it's a budgeting issue, because really the only thing that didn't work is the lack of horror. And I feel like had they done more with it, it would have been creepier, but it would have cost more. So I'm just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, basically, that there are positive things about this film, and I could see a lot of potential. And I understand if there's a reason why they couldn't meet that potential, because everything else about it is fine. It doesn't feel amateur. It just feels like they were not able to push it further. So it could have been great. It was pretty mediocre, but it's not terrible. And if it sounds like it might appeal to you, then sure, I'm happy enough to recommend The Sand.